Good morning, first grade. So, I hope you enjoyed that story yesterday and thought a little bit about that fairy, that water fairy, and noticed what happened to her during that story. If you didn't get to tell it back to your parents, you should pause and go tell them all about the story of the water fairy. If you did already get to tell them about it, then I want to take a moment to talk about it too. And we're going to do a drawing from the story. And we're going to draw close to the ending. But before we draw about it, I want to talk about water and the importance of water. And I wonder what you notice about water. Where did she begin? What type of water was she in first? Just a small mountain brook. And did you notice she went down the little brook to a waterfall and a pool of water? And certain things happened at the waterfall. The spray is important for the trees and the flowers. Those water fairies were carrying that to feed those because they were thirsty. And then the big wide river with the side rivers that went into the fields. Hopefully you noticed how important it is for that water, for our corn and wheat and vegetables and all the things that human beings like to eat. And then how the river got bigger and bigger and bigger until it reached the sea. All water, just about all water that's flowing, heads towards the sea eventually. So there she ended up in the sea. And who did she find? The sea princess. So that's who we will draw today. And I hope you notice too that the sea princess noticed their good work. She couldn't leave the ocean, so she wanted to hear all about what those water fairies were doing out in the world, how they helped the earth, how they helped the plants, how they helped animals and human beings, and the different ways that they helped them. And I want you to start thinking about plants as well. How do water and plants connect? Could a plant live if it has no water at all? Some plants can go a very, very long time without drinking. I'm thinking of the cactus in our classroom that only needed water once a month, but it still needed water. And then we had thirsty plants that wanted to drink every day and could have drank more. Lots of different kinds of plants. So think about plants. And I know for your nature journal, you were also noticing plants. So I hope you've really been paying attention as you're outside. And especially with all this rain, all the water. How do the plants change? How does the water affect the plants? And I wonder how those little fairies are involved. But that's where we will leave it today. And let's get to drawing our sea princess. So I was imagining this princess, and she had blue flowing hair, and she had blue eyes like the sea, and lips as pink as coral. And I was imagining maybe her skin was very pale green, like the pale, pale green algae at the bottom of the sea. So I'm going to use my pale green to find her form. And you heard she was a mermaid. So I want to make sure to give her a tail. So I'm going to put her form right in the center of my page, nice and big, and we're going to have her giving one of her gifts to the water fairies. So I'll start with her head, and I'm going to make her arms reaching out in that giving gesture. Here's her torso, and then instead of having legs, she's going to have a tail. So I'm going to show it curved behind her. And it would be the same width as her waist, at her waist area, but then it would get narrower and then flare out like a fish fin. And let's see, I think I'll add her hair first so you can really see. There, it's flowing and floating all around her. Now, if you imagine that your sea princess has a different color of her skin, that's just fine. Perhaps your sea princess has brown skin like a nice rich sand, or golden like some of the sands we see, or white as sea foam, or really any of our colors would be perfect because you might see all kinds of colors in an ocean. So here, and I want to show it waving behind her. And then her blue eye. And then I'm going to use, you have your pink, if you'd like to make her lips pink as coral. I'm going to use my red. Corals can be in a whole range of light pink to rich oranges and reds. And I'm showing her smiling because she's happy about the work that her little fairies are doing. And I'm going to then add a little blue shade to her tail. Remember, we always want to layer. And then I'm going to add some little lines to show the fin of her tail. I'm pretty sure almost all of you have seen a fish in person, so you can imagine a fish's fin or a fish tail and what that looks like. And you can also show some scales on there if you like. And often when I draw scales, I draw them like little waves that overlap. I'll draw just a few so you can see an example. But I'm not going to take the time right now to draw all of her scales. Then I'm going to take my golden yellow to go over her skin and really make it stand out nicely. So you can see that her arms are reaching. Now, I want to show the little fairy. I'm going to use my blue. Very, very small. She's quite small, and I'm going to add just a touch of purple to her. And her arms too, her little arms are reaching out. And I would like to show the pearl, the beautiful sea pearl that the princess is giving her. But I do not have my pink with me. So I'm going to do it a very light purple. And often when we see a pearl, it may look white or pink, but if you look carefully, there's a whole rainbow that reflects and shines out. So if you can draw a tiny little rainbow on your pearl. There's the pearl that she's handing to that little water fairy. Now is the time we may add our background. And I bet you will have lots of ideas of what to show down on the ocean floor. You could show the pink coral palace behind the princess, or the windows, because they're inside of it. But you could imagine her outside of it if you'd like and show it in the background. I'm not going to show the castle in mine because I don't have my pink, but I hope that you show a little bit of it if you'd like, especially that arched window that the water fairy floated right through. Now I'm going to put sand down. And if you were adding a palace, you would want to not cover up your palace with your blue, but we do want to show the blue water and make it very, very light so that our sea princess and water fairy don't get lost in it. Pale, pale, pale blue. And you may want to layer your blues. If you can layer them and not make it too dark. So there's my background, and then you can imagine all the sea creatures you could draw. I'm going to add just a few. I'd like a starfish. So finding your star form. I made mine orange. And you'll probably want some seaweed, that tasty kelp. And sometimes it's algae, tiny, tiny, tiny layer, like what covered up the water fairy, is that almost slimy green algae. And sometimes there's almost seagrasses where they're tall and they like to wave in the ocean. That's the kind I'm going to draw. And some of those kinds are called kelp. And I'd probably put some on the other side if I didn't have a castle there, which you can imagine I have a castle right behind the princess. And there's my starfish and maybe a seahorse as well. I think I'll do my seahorse in purple. The little head, and then they too have a curved body and tail body, just like a fish or a sea princess. So there's my little seahorse. And he has just a little fin behind him. I have a seahorse, a starfish. You could add fish into yours, or sharks or whales. I would want you to put them in the background. so that they're rather small. They can be far away, especially a whale. A whale would take over your whole drawing, but you're welcome to show a small one in the background, going about their whale business. I think that my sea princess is all finished, and there's my water fairy. And that water fairy who will carry that up, and it will become a dewdrop in the flower in the morning to water the plants and when they are thirsty. Or that water fairy might ride a raindrop down to the earth on a day like today. I hope you have fun with this drawing. And I'll bring it a little closer. And I will include a picture as well. Now, I was going to add more to our jars, but I haven't collected any more words since yesterday. So I have a few more of you to meet with, and we'll see if we get some more words by our last day, tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll close them up, and you can add more on your own if you like. But we'll have a new rule tomorrow to talk about. You have your nature journal that you may write in, and I don't have a specific assignment for your nature journal this day. So I would like you to take a walk outdoors or sit outside somewhere and notice what you notice. See what you see. Use those sharp observation skills and write a sentence about something you notice. The very last thing I wanted to do today is a little math dictation. Now later today there's a math worksheet with some missing pieces for you to solve. But I thought we could do a little other math today too, since we're almost done with our year. And all these things are good practice getting ready for next year. So this week it's all about kittens. A mother cat has 6 kittens. If 5 of the kittens were adopted by new owners, how many are left? And how could you show that with a number sentence? My next question about cats is, if my cat Elwood eats 2 cans of food every day, how many cans does he eat in a week? I would like to have a number sentence for that as well. See if you can sort that out. Now, there was a cat named Peanut Butter, and she had some kittens. 1 kitten was black. 2 kittens had stripes, orange stripes like Elwood and Jerry. And 2 kittens were all golden yellow. How many kittens did Peanut Butter have? And you may show that with a number sentence too. So now we have 3 different questions about cats and kittens. And today I have an extra challenge. So you may want to write down this on some scratch paper if you'd like. And if you're not sure, don't worry about it. But try this question. The cat has 5 claws on each front paw. The cat also has 4 claws on each back paw. 5 on the front, 4 on the back. How many claws does a cat have in all? need to write a number sentence. Just sort that out if you can. But there's a second part to the question. How many claws would 2 cats have? So if you're up for a challenge, give that a try. Otherwise, those first 3, I know you can sort out the answer. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.